Most people don't have a discipline problem. What they have is a self-leadership problem. And the thing is this, is if you don't lead yourself, then your emotions will. And that's why your life feels inconsistent. So I'm Coach Boe, and we've been walking through the resilient method. This is a framework that I take my clients through that is pretty extensive. It breaks down the barriers and the inconsistencies in life and really helps you to formulate a plan to rebuild and put things into motion, not just for your mindset, but for your emotional intelligence, for your outlook, your leadership skills, but it puts you in a position for true resilience. And what that is just pushing through circumstances with a better knowledge of how to do it instead of just trying to survive. So resilient method, resilient is an acrostic. We've just been moving through that. If you've missed any of the videos, I encourage you to go back and watch from the beginning, go through the whole course. My hope is, yeah, I could sell this course all day long, this and that, but that's not my main driver. My main driver is to engage with you and give you value and help you through the circumstances, because I know what it's like. I've been through the ringer quite a few times. I've had to learn these things the hard way. But now, to your benefit, from me learning the hard way, I can give it to you, and hopefully you can implement these things before it gets too hard. That's my heart behind it. So we're going to continue to move on. Today is an important one. I really think today stands out quite a bit because it's very easy in our society in this day and age to blame other things, our circumstances, our situations, people. There's so many different outside factors today that we can try to divert to just have an explanation of what we're going through. So today I'm going to show you a simple way to start leading yourself today. Even if you feel stuck, distracted, or all over the place, whatever it may be, or you're having a hard time taking ownership or responsibility, this is going to help. This is going to put you in a position to where you can understand that you have your part to play and what that looks like. So most people wake up and they immediately go into reaction mode. I don't know if you can relate to this. I'm sure you can, because it's more common than not. Like reacting to your phone, reacting to stress, reacting to people, reacting to how you feel. And then we begin to think, I need more discipline, right? Have you ever thought that? I need to try harder. I need to do better, right? But no, you don't. Yeah, you need structure for leading yourself. Because if you don't decide your direction, your day, it will decide for you. That's the fortunate and unfortunate part. A lot of times it falls on the unfortunate, because if we're not doing it the right way, this world's broken. We know that. We've seen it. And so if we're allowing the world to dictate how our day goes, it's not generally going to turn out very well. So self-leadership is really truly one decision, okay? I did a video not too long ago talking about this, and in the video it came down to, what I talked about was you only have two options when you're for choice, and that's either to do it or don't do it, right? Now there's reframing of how you look at that choice, but on the choice itself, it's just either you do or you don't. It's right or wrong. It's this or that, right? So when I say self-leadership is one decision, what I'm saying is, like, stop asking, what do I feel like doing? But start asking, what would the person I'm becoming do right now? And you can kind of see that reframing there. That question alone creates separation between who you are now and who you're building into. That's where the resilience is built. There's a simple 3-step system that you can use immediately that I want to share with you. And it goes like this. The first one is pause, and then you go into anchor, and then you go into act, okay? So pause is before you react to anything, just stop for a minute. Just completely stop what you're doing. It could be 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds. But in that moment, what I want you to do is I want you to ask yourself, what's actually driving me right now in this moment? Is this emotion a habit or is it intentional? See, this is where the emotional intelligence comes in, which is a huge thing to understand. There's a lot of stuff out there on emotional intelligence right now. And if you haven't read up on it or you haven't researched it, I would suggest that you do. It's super important because regulation of emotions helps us in so many different areas, especially with this one, with leading ourselves, because we have to recognize those emotions. We have to be not reactive, but intentional. So you ask yourselves, what's actually driving me right now? Is this emotion, habit, or intentional? See, most people never pause. That's why they stay stuck. They think that just keep pushing on and pushing in is going to solve the issue, but they're not having the time to properly put emotions into check and look at things from a logical standpoint for what it is in that moment. See, awareness creates control. And then you go to the second one, which is the anchor, and this is you return to truth, not emotion. So you need something stronger than your feelings. Because feelings, they come and go. They're fleeting. They're like waves. They come up. They can be really good, but then they crash. Right? They're inconsistent. You can't control how the waves come in, but you can control you and how you react to that. So by doing that, what you can do is you can pick 2 to 3 anchors. Right? A core value, which could be a discipline, integrity, faith. Mine is faith. That's one of my anchors. I anchor myself in the Word of God. There's then a truth that you live by, or a simple standard like I follow through even when I don't feel like it. Okay? But you need to pick these anchors. Here's another example. I don't operate based on mood. I operate based on who I said I'd be. Then you just tell yourself that over and over in the situation. I don't operate based on my mood, based on how I'm feeling right now in this moment, of what I'm going through emotionally. No, I operate based on who I said I'd be, that person that I'm becoming. Because and this goes back, we can do work on this. I do this with my coaching. I would encourage you to search that out. Visit my website, coachboe.com. I do have financing available. I just need to throw a plug in there on that. But when we sit down and we go through sessions, we help you formulate these things. We figure out what your why is. We figure out who it is you want to be, right? We go through different practices and exercises to figure that out. Because when we can figure those things out, that's when we can take the resilient method and we can really dial it in and give you a clear roadmap into where you need to go. So yes, this information I'm giving you is great. It's really good. It's something you can implement, but there is a deeper level to it. If you take just what you're learning from this course, these videos, yes, you can do better in life. And I would encourage you, please do that. But if you want to get to a place that is beyond where you thought you could be, unimaginable, that's where the deeper work happens. And that's what I can help you with. So now that I've given myself a plug, let's jump back on track here. So that example that I gave you, that I don't operate based on mood, I operate based on on who I said I'd be. This stabilizes you. See, you don't eliminate the emotion, you outgrow being controlled by it, right? Does that make sense? And then we lead into act, leading with intention, not impulse. See, now you choose your action intentionally. Not in the easiest one, not the most comfortable one, the aligned one. That's your choice. That's the choice you're going to make. When I said before, you do or you don't. You choose or you don't choose. This is the one you choose. Ask, what is the next right move? Frame yourself. Put yourself in a position to know what's to come next. See, that, like I said earlier, a lot of people just don't do that. They don't stop and pause to see what they can do in that situation to make it different. They just go into it saying, okay, well, I'm just going to try hard and grit and bear it and get through it and see what happens. Well, a lot of the times that doesn't get you there. It doesn't produce any fruit, right? So you ask yourself, what is the next right move? And then you take it immediately. That's the key. Immediately, you get on it. You don't allow any other emotions to push their way in, any fears, any doubts, because change is hard. We all know that change is hard. And a lot of the times why it's so hard is because we give ourselves pockets of uncertainty. We give ourselves an opportunity to allow fear to control our decision making. But if you know what the right next move is, and you can think about the next right move by pausing, then you can act on that immediately. There is power in progress. There's power in I'm trying to remember, there's a mentor that I follow, and he's talked about this many times, and I've heard it many other places. I wish I wrote it down so I could have it on hand. But it's like success like speed. I think that's what it is. It's along those lines. Like when you act on, but it's a formulated right act. You're putting something into place, and then you step into that immediately. And when you do that, you give yourself an opportunity to kind of just be imperfect, but forward motion, right? Forward moving. And then what happens too is when you step out immediately and you start doing it immediately, small controlled actions will start building trust within yourself. And then your self-leadership is built in moments, not in breakthroughs. And that's what you want. Because a lot of the times the truth is the breakthroughs won't come if you're not putting the consistent steps in quickly. And again, on a deeper level, we can formulate these things and put a plan together for you to know what direction you want to go. That way it's easier to see the steps that you need to take. So let's make this practical. This shows up everywhere. When you don't feel like working out, right? Or you don't feel like doing a chore, or like there's different things that we can look at, but let's look at some practicality in these. Like, okay, so when you don't feel like working out, pause, right? Pause, anchor, act. I said I'm someone who takes care of my body, right? That's you're pausing, you're thinking, okay, I said I'm someone who takes care of my body. All right, so go anyways, right? That's your thing. You pause, you anchor onto what you want to be, and then you act. You go anyways. When you're stressed or overwhelmed, your pause, anchor, act. You pause. Your anchor is I don't spiral, I solve. And then act is you take one step forward, right? You find a solution. You seek it out. And this is surface. I understand. Like this goes a lot deeper because there's more that you can do in that circumstance, right? When you take that one step forward, you're asking somebody for advice, or you're seeking knowledge, or there's different things. It's just these are examples of how you can just implement the pause, anchor, and act. I think the fundamentals that we really want to get to are understanding yourself. That way, when you do implement these things, you do have direction. So I do want to drive that home, that it takes work to know who you are. And I wasn't gonna bring it up in this video, but I think I'm going to, because I think it's important, because I just an aha thing went off in my mind that this is actually a perfect opportunity to talk about this. So I recently partnered with another facility that does Christian marriage counseling and coaching, and my friend brought me on asking if I would help with this new assessment that they've made over quite a few years. It's called Deep Origin, and I went through it, and this actually was a tool that helped me get to know who I truly was at the core. My wiring that God had created for me when He created me before the world's noise got to me. It's a pretty extensive. The best way to say is it's an assessment, but it's beyond an assessment. It's more of a discovery, because you actually get to discover who you truly are. There's all these other assessments that tell you your love language, and they're just surface level. This one goes deep, and not only deep, but it offers you an opportunity to sit with somebody after the fact to help you understand what it means and how that you can implement that. And that's at unbreakablelove.com. I'll put it in my comments at the end, or I'll put it in the description. But it's called the Deep Origin Assessment or Discovery. There's one for individual and there's one for couples. Obviously, this is more geared for couples because we want strong marriages, but on an individual level, it works. And actually in a business atmosphere, it works, because if you know who people are and how they operate, you know where to place them to where they're going to excel, right? So it's a super beneficial tool. I guess I'm just going to throw the plug in there because it is good to know who you are, especially when you're stepping into this kind of stuff, this kind of work here, and then you have a direction. You know which way you want to go, and you can start formulating that plan for your life, or formulating that plan to get over what it is that's keeping you stuck, because it's probably something that you're going to unbury that you didn't even know was there, but that isn't even really a part of your life that you just try to stick in there because you were told by the world you had to have it, or somebody, convinced you that that's who you were, or you convinced yourself that that's who you had to be to get what you wanted, when truly it wasn't you at all. So it's super important. Okay, so back on track. So we're back in this pause, anchor, act. So now knowing ourselves and being able to pause. Here's another one. When you want to avoid something hard, right? You pause and you think, my anchor is I face things. I don't run from them. And then you handle it. Hard conversation, the hard choice. You do it or you don't do it, right? This is how you rebuild consistency. And you don't need to become a different person overnight. I know that we live in a day and age where so much is at our fingertips, so much is just readily available. And so our desire to have that instant gratification surfaces quite often because we want it. We get a false sense of security and well-being and happiness from something that comes quickly. When the truth is over time, that's when the true strength, the true foundation, the true everything is going to be built. And it's going to be solid because it's built. It's not just fabricated quickly, it's built. So you don't need to become a different person overnight. You just need to start leading yourself in these small moments consistently. Because every time that you do, what you're doing is you're building confidence, you're building discipline, and really you're building trust in yourself. And eventually, you become someone who doesn't break under pressure. You become resilient. If your life has felt inconsistent, it's not because you're incapable, okay? It's not. It's because you haven't been shown how to lead yourself yet. Start here. Pause, anchor, and then just act. Take initiative and know that now is the time. Now is the moment. You have a direction to go. Step into it. That's how resilience is built. And if this has helped you, please subscribe. As I said before, we're going through the Resilient Method. This is the framework that I take my clients through. The Resilient Method, this whole method, is actually my 3-month program that I take my clients through. But we go a lot deeper. Like what I'm teaching you just like the key elements to it. But like I said earlier, we go deep into this and really uncover a lot and understand a lot. So check out I'm going to post the whole. It's a course on YouTube, but it's my program. And I'm going to post the whole thing for you for value, so you can get some stuff from it. But you need to subscribe and hit that bell notification because that's going to notify you when the next one comes out. And like I said earlier, if you haven't watched the other ones, I'd encourage you to go back. Resilient Method is an acrostic. It goes through the word resilient. So if you're kind of confused on which one's which, but they should be in order under the course tab. And that'll help you navigate that. But this is exactly what I teach, how to rebuild from the inside out. And it's for you. I've got it out here offered for you. So Thank you for joining me on this video. Stay tuned for the next video. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video.